Hi, Dollar Makers members. I want to talk to you about overlap. Overlap is really misunderstood by many people in business, and yet it is probably the most strategic part of joint ventures, which in themselves are strategic ways of thinking. I really believe that the more you understand overlap, the more successful your joint ventures will become, and the more successful you as a joint venture will be. So we need to think about what exactly is overlap and how does it work. We've all heard about the 100 monkeys syndrome where, a monkey was picking up sweet potatoes and they were gritty in his mouth because they had sand on them, and he found out that by washing them they were easier to eat. And anthropologists and psychologists found that after 100 monkeys discovered this, other monkeys all over started discovering it, and even on other islands where there was no contact between these monkeys, they started discovering this. And if you read cybernetics, and if you read about what Jung says about the universal subconscious, these are things we don't really understand, we don't have to understand. The same goes for goal setting. Your reticular activating system works whether you want it to work or not. It's a law. And the more specific your goals are, the more enthusiastic and energetic and emotional you are about your goals, the more you visualize them, talk about them, and affirm them, the more your reticular activating system starts finding ways for them to work. We also know about the mastermind concept, that the more we work together, the more we can achieve, because two minds together form almost a third mind. And so when you bring all of this together, then overlap is a very practical and yet very powerful thing to understand and to use. So when we suggest to our members that here's a way for you to get more overlap with us, here's a way for the different divisions of dollar makers to start working together more effectively so that we can accomplish more, it's not about trying to sell you something. We really don't need your money. What we do need is your success, because the mission of dollar makers is what drives us. It's a mission with a commission, if you like. Our mission in dollar makers is to help millions of people around the world to accomplish and to create their own financial freedom with no cost or risk, regardless of their background, their circumstances, education, age, or experience. When you buy into that mission and you understand that together we can do this with all the different divisions, all the different structures within dollar makers, when you buy into that, then collectively we start creating a power that can help us to get there. If you've seen this recent The Social Network, this new movie about Facebook, and you see this one guy that wants to ride on the guy's back, and then he tries to sue him, and eventually gets 650 million, but the owner ends up with 25 billion. Together they could have done amazing things had he stuck in there and been loyal, instead of going off and creating his own little empire, or not even doing that. He was even too stupid to do that. But empire builders base their decisions and motives on ego, on trying to feel important in their own, legends in their own lunchtime, big fish in small ponds. But if you really want to create a massive purpose, then we need more people to work with. And that's when it becomes truly inspiring and inciting. And that's when we start releasing this extra power, this extra knowledge. Our reticular activating systems start working together. And it's just like geese flying in a V triangle. It's that practical, it's that simple. But that's how your brain works, and that's how we work as individuals. So we don't have to understand something to use it. It's almost like my computer. I don't understand how it works. I don't need to understand. If I just want to push a button and get something, the same with a television set, I don't need to understand it. What I need to understand is by using this system, I'm going to accomplish more. So overlap, in essence, really means that the more I can get other people to have a vested interest in my success and vice versa, the more stable, the more secure, and the more successful I will be. That's all we need to understand. So if we're both involved in the same joint venture, we're both contributing. I'm not talking about looters and parasites. I'm talking about people that produce. If we have a joint venture where you're both committed to helping each other accomplish our goals in this joint venture, and we stick with that, the more things we can add on to that joint venture, the more successful we'll be. And it's not because anybody wants to, just be part of this thing for the sake of being part of it. You have to only do something if you really believe in it. And so we're not pressurizing anybody to do anything, and that's why there's so many different divisions in dollar makers. But it's a way for you to get help to get where you want to be. So getting overlap, helping other people, working together, and having multiple joint ventures, all overlapping with as many good people as you can afford to get, or can get together, the faster you reach your goals, the bigger the goals that you can accomplish, the more power you will have to do that. And that's all it is. So think about how you can get more overlap within the Dollar Makers organization. I said to somebody the other day, get involved with everything that all our leaders are doing where there is overlap, and you will find amazing power. But obviously you have to work. This is not something you can jump on the bandwagon and just sit back and receive. We're not socialists. But as you contribute, the more you contribute, the more overlap you have, the more strategically designed that overlap is, the better you will do. So be aware of your overlap, reconsider where you stand, get rid of stuff where there's no overlap unless it's really helpful to building, and start looking at this from a strategic point of view, from a sensible point of view. Get your ego out of the way and look at this from a business perspective, and you will be amazed the kind of power that you can release through the power of overlap. If you have any questions, email me, robin@dollarmakers.com. I'll be happy to answer them, and we can chat about how we can make you even more successful. Thanks for what you contribute to Dollar Makers.